An example of how we use a truth table to analyze an argument for validity. The argument I put up here says, as premise 1, either H or I. Now the slash means that's the end of that premise. Here's the next premise, not H, and here's a slash again. I'm going to make a double slash to indicate that this is not just another premise, but this is now the conclusion. So either H or I, not H, therefore not I. To prove that this argument is invalid using a truth table, we fill in the 4 lines. Again, it's going to be 4 lines because it's got 2 different letters, H and I. It's going to be true, true, false, false, and then true, false, true, false. Now we have to repeat those values. Whenever H occurs, it's going to be TTFF. So H is going to be TTFF. We want to reverse those right away because this is tilde H, so it's going to be FFTT. And tilde I is going to be the reversal of TFTF. So we're going to write FTFT for the value for tilde I. Now we have to fill in the calculation under the wedge. That's going to be true or true is true, true or false is true, false or true is true, false or false is false. So we know, again, you want to learn this quickly. A wedge is only false if both parts are false, so you can just scan this for the line where they're both false and call that one false. You fill in the others as true very quickly. Now, these are the values that we want to look at line by line. On line 1, this premise is true, this premise is false, and the conclusion is false. On line 2, this premise is true, this premise is false, the conclusion is true. On line 3, this premise is true, this premise is true, and the conclusion is false. And on line 4, the premise is false, this premise is true, and the conclusion is false. What are we looking for? We're looking for validity or invalidity. And invalidity is the place to look. Invalidity means that the argument does not require, the premises do not require that the conclusion be true, even if they are true. And line 3 shows we can have this premise true and this premise true and yet get a false conclusion. So if that can happen, that we can get all of our premises true and yet have a false conclusion, that means this argument is not reliable. We can't count on this argument structure at all to give us true conclusions from true premises. So that's how you show an argument is invalid. Once you've filled in everything, you read line by line looking for a false conclusion where all the premises are true. If you don't find that, then it's valid. And that's all there is to it.